Hey, greetings, brothers and sisters. Keith here, hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. We're going to dig around a minute here and see if we can get some people in here. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I am on Keith Little, El Perro, and Hacklebus. So if you're on any one of those, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Get this out there. And then get onto the other channels and do the same. Meantime, there's a PayPal link down below. And if you guys can't understand that it's all about me and can't help with at least $500, then don't even bother. Now, if you're going to help with $1,000, that might help a little bit more. But the expected donation here on out is $10,000 because it's all about me, folks. Me, 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 and me. Not really. It's all about him. I'm just a pass-through. I'm the zero. So, trying to get some sarcasm out there because we're going to talk about somebody who thinks it's all about me first and foremost. So while we wait for people to pile in and you folks to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, I hope you enjoy.
It's all about me, really.
It is all about you. Now the greatest collection of me worship ever assembled on one CD.
It's all about now I lift my name on high.
All 20 songs, all about you.
My praises, I exalt me.
This amazing collection is great to share with friends, if you have any. Everyone can join in the worship with you, for you, and about you. Because you are unique, and you love you.
There is none like me. No one else.
All this for only $19.95. Operators are standing by to serve you.
And I am why I sing, and I am why I live.
If you order now, you'll also receive a second CD of Yuletide favorites.
No, come
Call 1-800-ME-ME-ME or order online at memyselfandi.com. Call today because no one can praise you like you.
So remember, folks, it's all about me now. So, little update. Last night, I told you in my video I was going to court in the morning. And so we went down there and we took care of business. As you can see, I'm back. A little bit late tonight because I was still needing some rest and had to get a nap this afternoon. And that, of course, had me fall behind on some other things I needed to do as well. But the interesting thing is that when I went there, it was the same gal that issued the bench warrant. So consequently, rather than having to worry about her own order, I just put it to her. I don't understand how you put out an order with zero finances, zero long title, zero bond, and no charges. Well, that's just, you're subject to the jury duty and all of that. So I asked her, well, as a felon, I didn't realize that was, as far as I knew, as a felon, I was not qualified for jury duty. Oh, no, the laws have changed. Well, what about the voter registration? There are many things that say I'm not qualified. Well, no, that's changed too. So rather than put up with any of that, we just went ahead and let her tell me that she was going to issue me a summons for jury duty and then show her that I know what I'm talking about. I don't care what her order is because that's not what I'm ordering. So I just found a different way to order it. Rather than deal with the lowly employee taking an order, because I'm the one giving the order, And remember, a draft is an order, a note is a promise. So I'm not giving a promise, I'm giving an order. Okay? That's why it specifically says order hour. And most courts, I don't know that all courts are going to call them that, but most courts should be calling them order hour. It should be held like first thing in the morning. Here it's first thing in the morning, Monday through Friday, every day of the week. So, so now when they send me the summons, and again, because I've done my research and I'm already preemptive, I can adjust as things go and just avoid any arguments in public. So when they send me the summons, they're going to send me a questionnaire or a link to a site where I can fill the questionnaire out online before I even go to jury summons and have to physically appear in the court in front of an attorney. I can send them prior notice, just like anything else. So when I get online and I fill out the questionnaire upon that summons, the first question is, are you a resident of the state of Iowa? No. And I'm already disqualified in the first question. Now the onus on them is to prove that I'm a federal, state, or municipal officer or agent whose resident presence is deemed necessary by the board. The board being the Secretary of Commerce as the executive chair and the Secretary of Treasury. Now, this woman is a judicial officer. That means she does have direct communications as part of the right hand of knowing what to do in these judicial determinations, because that is a judicial factor. It says extrajudicial, not a resident, not a United States citizen. The first two questions on the questionnaire automatically preempts any judicial determination because it specifically implies that I'm extrajudicial. I am beyond the judicial reach, therefore not even admitted for the administration thereof. See, it's not about me. It's not about her. It's about how it actually works. You go to McDonald's, you place your order. You go to the court, you place your order. To set. Remember how we went over some of those etymological terms? To set, to put upon, to place. So, when we come upon people that think they know more than you, they're going to express it. Rather than sit there and argue with them, you point out their fallacies. Enjoy.
There was an incident I went through. I had a realization, an experience of myself. Someone I knew, I encountered him at a public place, and it was like, to me, it felt like one of those times where it was an awkward, they didn't really want to say hi, but they came over to give a fake hug and, pretend like we were friends. And I just had this reaction with me. I was triggered, but I had the awareness by then to pay attention to that. And I didn't understand what was going on. I excused myself kind of uncomfortably, but the trigger, what it was, when I went inside, like Sarah's saying, to find out the reason for it, I think many people can resonate. I would rather be alone than spend time with people who don't appreciate me.
I would rather be alone than with people who don't appreciate me. And what we see is people that do appreciate Jack. We appreciated Jack and wanted to help him. He dismisses that help. And yet he's still today asking for help. And he does it in a rather demanding way. And again, so I ask you to pay attention to his narcissism. because that's what this is about. It's all about Jack. And you have to be able to understand Jack. Jack doesn't have to be able to understand you. You have to be able to understand Jack. Jack doesn't have to care about you. You have to care about Jack.
So, admitting that honest truth to myself brought forth a lot of other memories and relationships I've been through, but it felt good to have that knowledge, to be aware. All right, if I see people not appreciating me, then oh, wow, Jack, it is still obvious, isn't it?
The problem is he doesn't think anybody appreciates him, no matter what they do. I've shown my appreciation for Jack in my own attitude. He's the one that's helping me get over my anger. Of course, I'm still going to be passionate and do some yelling here and there. But hopefully you've seen that it's quelled down. And of course, I don't go over to Jack's anymore, except to pop in. And it's funny how the last 2 times I've popped in, I found some amazing content that doesn't take but a couple minutes, and then I'm done. I don't care really what Jack has to say, except that what he does is hang himself.
Jack, the one thing I want to caution you with is reading people's minds is awesome.
And here's Scott helping him out. And like I said, Jack doesn't read your mind. Jack does not do that. Jack is not interested in reading your mind. He wants you to read his mind. He wants you to be able to see what he's thinking and act accordingly the way he wants you to. Because if you don't, then you don't appreciate him. Yet he brings no solutions. He offers help. He offers trust. 2 things that he can't do.
Often the last thing we're able to do. So just by their facial expression, just by, little tics that they may have or little, gestures they may make, you might think someone that's in your sphere is thinking about you, and you might be the last fucking thing on their mind. So I want to caution you to not take.
So helping him out by thinking that if somebody does speak in a tense that might mention you, they're absolutely not talking about you is the exact thing that helps these people dig in and try to placate that. Yeah, that's what they're not being serious anyway. So you have 2 of the same kind here. Each of them trying to convince the other to go about things a different way, but with the same goal, to read people's minds or have them read your mind and placate to you. Again, I don't ask anybody to placate to me. I'm merely here trying to point things out and show you that there's a better message, that there's a greater message. And that message is that these are faithful sayings that I will, that thou constantly affirm, that he who believed in God be careful to maintain good works. These are profitable unto men. You cannot have your daily bread unless you do something.
Looks or people looking away, they might see you, they might not. They might have looked right through you, and people are capable of doing that because they get so far into their own.
Again, he's imposing that people are just looking right through him. No, we see him for what he is.
Imagination. So I just don't want you to think that the people all around you are ignoring you or dissing you, or I don't think that's the case.
If I can share, Jack, just to pull it a little bit from the joy, beauty, and value soul. What is,
if I may,
go ahead, Jack.
Hey, Dominic, sorry. The synchronicity that Scott bring this up, I mean,
see what I meant? See what I said? 2 of a kind. He compares it as synchronicity. No, you're 2 blasphemers. You're 2 cowards. You're 2 idiots. Stop it. This is going to be the best part. Watch how Jack hangs himself.
Today, this panel already, it's bringing me confirmation of things that I've just been recently reflecting on, right? The world outside is bringing me confirmation. Damn it. What you were just saying, Scott, and I'm sorry I lost it. I interrupted Dominic for that
Well,
too.
people aren't thinking about you all the time. They're in their own
Yo.
head, they're all trapped up.
People aren't thinking about you all the time. They're in their own mind, trapped up in their own thoughts. See, this is pushing the concept that other people should be thinking about you. I don't give a fuck about you. I care about the things that we say and do to each other. If you can't quit going around treating other people like idiots and bitches and when they're the ones trying to help you out, then I hope you get what you fucking deserve.
Thank you.
Tight.
Hey, thank you. That was the observation I had earlier today. Is I used to go a lot of places, right? Events and out in public. And I always felt insecure and I never really felt safe. And I was always worried people were watching, judging me, blah, 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 blah.
All this paranoia over bullshit. Constantly being rejected because he thought about it first. Living your life in a negative mindset, believing that others are out to get you, believing that they're out to tear you down all the time. This is why he doesn't accept any of it. He's gotten tired of it. He's trying to find another way around it. But you can't get around what is true. You have to do things in your life. If you know you must die, then you know you must live. And living is a verb.
And then I realized what you were just saying, Scott, a while back, that, you know, people don't think about us as much as we think they actually do. The world doesn't quite revolve around us like we sometimes think.
Hey, Jack, can I give you a secret?
Yes, Scott, please give us a secret while we're trying to end secrets.
Give you a little secret. People will be inclined and they will naturally follow you when you start following you and stop looking back to see if they're there.
People will be inclined naturally to follow you when you follow you and don't look back to see if they're there. That's the problem with narcissism. They do follow themselves because they follow no other. And they do look back because that's the importance of being a narcissist, is having people that believe.
Agreed. The observation I had last night, I went out and I had a beautiful meal by myself, and it was a wonderful evening. These days, I really am unnoticed. It's like I'm just one of those background people wherever I go. And
just one of those background people wherever he goes, and every panel he goes on, people are speaking about him. I don't understand it.
I go wherever I want, but I feel so safe. I feel so peaceful.
Because nothing can happen to him through this metaverse. See, the reality of it is that people have deemed this man to be dangerous. I'm telling you, he's not. They know he's not. But they've got to help push that agenda because internally he's insane. He has caused havoc in the postal service. He has caused havoc in his own house. He has caused havoc in his own neighborhood. The community at large in that centralized area does not have a good experience with him, so much so that they've deemed him a danger. I got 93 cases and they never deemed me a danger.
Peaceful.
Jack, there's someone like me that's a gregarious guy. I can walk into a room and decide that I want everybody to know I'm there, or I can walk in and tame it down. Like my mother says, shut the fuck up. Not literally, but figuratively. She go, just let us be us tonight. Can we just talk? And she doesn't want me to be friendly. And that's what you do. If you sit back and you don't talk to people, it's up to you how you react or act. And I don't know how you are in public, but you seem to be a pretty nice guy and open to talking. Just pick your.
You seem to be a pretty nice guy and open to talking. Open to talking my ass. You have to kiss this man's ass and agree with his concepts in order for it to be allowed to speak. And Scott has this experience. Joe Cool has this experience. Paul has this experience. I have this experience. We all treat it differently, though. That's the difference. Again, it's not about manipulation and changing others. It's about being like water and being able to manipulate yourself into the spaces that you can thrive in. You're the one that has to change and adapt.
Pick your conversations. There's always going to be somebody willing to talk, or more importantly, somebody that wants somebody to listen.
That's true.
I'm trying to figure out what degree that is, that secret. Jack, I guess when it comes, because you brought up the word trick.
So we see we're talking about a guy that he totally agrees with the concept of following himself and making sure that others are following him. Like I said, I love you, but I don't give a fuck whether you love me back or not. Because if you can't understand the love that I give, then you're the one that's deceived. Because when you ask somebody for help and you think that they can only give you help the way you want it, then you're not willing to accept what you need. So when you end up in a tent down along the row and you need things, you'll have plenty of other people beside you that have everything you need. And you can ask them if you want. So I want to take a moment to take a quick break and thank our sponsor, our Father which art in heaven. I hope you enjoy that, because he's the one that funds me. He's the one that gives me the credit I need to exist in this world. That is what I seek for counsel. So please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Of course, again, like I said earlier, there's a PayPal button down the bottom if you'd like to share some love. And of course, I was just being facetious when I said $500 or $5,000 is a minimum donation there. And hope you understand that. Like I've said many times before, even $10, $20, $30 is a big help. But again, it's only a matter of doctrine of necessity. And again, I shall not want. I've already had what I need. I started this journey out 7 years ago with a goddamn cell phone. Did that for 4 years. Did everything on a cell phone. I'm a man of my means. I get what I need, because that's all I really need. Above and beyond that, he's going to take care of me. He's going to be my judge. So you do what you want. You do what you need. But make sure you do it for you and not for me, not for Jack, but for yourself first. You learn how to be your own hero. but through the guidance, the instruction of our Father which art in heaven, and the law in our Mother Earth. Use your true spiritual nature first and foremost. And I assure you, your instincts will start to take over and kick in, and you'll learn how to tell when people are lying, even the littlest white lies. It'll hit you in your heart. You'll ask yourself, why would I do such a thing? Because I've been a fool all my life too. I've been the bitch ass slave all my life too. I've lied to myself and many others many times. So it's not a matter of asking what other people do. It's not a matter of wanting other people to read your mind, but to know thyself. Read your own mind. Find out what's going on there first. So I appreciate all of your support. Like I said, there's the like button, share button, subscribe button. Hit those. There's a PayPal button. There's a StreamYard link. I'm going to go ahead and drop that again because I didn't get over and paste it. So anybody that wants to join the panel, there's the StreamYard link. And we're going to get on to the shorts tonight. Oops. Okay. Now, some of these I have not seen yet, so we're going to play them and see what goes on. This first one is one of them. It caught my attention simply because it said people who called Trump Hitler. Oops.
Speech, and then my question to those people always is, okay, well then who would you like to see making that decision? It drove me nuts throughout the entire Trump.
Let's do this all right from the beginning here.
People say, okay, what about this speech and what about this speech? And then my question to those people always is, okay, well then who would you like to see making that decision? It drove me nuts throughout the entire Trump presidency how many people would call for hate speech laws, but then also say that Trump is literally Hitler. So how can you have those two views at the same time? So you want the government to be controlling speech, the same government that you yourself just said you think the figurehead or the head of the executive branch is literally Hitler, and you don't see how those two don't make sense together. If anything, the people who really hated Trump and thought he was Hitler should have came out of that presidency more for free speech, but that's just not how it worked out. People say, okay, what about this speech and what about this speech? And then
I don't know how she's saying that. People came out of the Trump presidency doing everything we can now to try to help enforce free speech. That's the only reason there's more activity on free speech, because people themselves are becoming more active, and that's pushing their buttons more. So they're trying to, not trying to violate it, but they're trying to suppress it, of course. And they do so under their best interpretation and discernment. But again, that goes to their cognitive dissonance, and that's why there's an issue. These people don't all know what they're doing. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. I was a fool all my life. I was a bitch-ass slave all my life. These people are just still fools and still bitch-ass slaves. Learn how to educate them, admonish them, not destroy them.
So I just went to the library.
people say, okay, what about this speech and what about this speech? And then my question to those people always is, okay, well then who would you like to see making that decision? It drove me nuts throughout the entire Trump presidency how many people would call for hate speech laws, but then also say that Trump is literally Hitler. So how can you have those two views at the same time? So you want the government to be controlling speech, the same government that you yourself just said you think the figurehead or the head of the executive branch is literally Hitler, and you don't see how those two don't make sense together. If anything, the people who really hated Trump and thought he was Hitler should have came out of that presidency more for free speech. But that's
it's just ridiculous. We really have to realize that, again, the freedom of speech is important. But much like coin your words or purse your lips. Just because you have a mouth doesn't mean you have to use it, you know? So when we look at the discrepancies in the platforms and the people that don't necessarily get along, you see that we hold the same kind of concepts. Okay? We use them in different manners, though. Because I'm not telling you to just shut your mouth. I mean, you got a mouth, but it doesn't mean you have to use it. That's kind of a negative connotation. What I am saying is that if you do use your mouth, please use it wisely to make sure that it does good. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. And if you're going to be faithful, constantly affirming he that believed in God, be careful to maintain good works. And then, again, the action speaks louder than the word. The next one we're going to look and listen to, again, is another one I haven't watched yet. But before we do, I do want to say hi, Hard Hack. Welcome, brother. Great to see you. How you doing, brother?
Good to see you, buddy. Wizard. Just a long day for me, and I see you got a fucking late show, and I don't know if I've ever actually been up. Not sure,
Yeah.
but just to show some support, I'm going to be smoking a joint and having a bite to eat, but I'm definitely I'm listening, and if I got something to add, I'll throw it out. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, brother. Give me one big smile for everybody, though, brother. I love it. I love it. Awesome. That guys, that is one of the greatest smiles I've ever seen. I first saw this man, and I knew he had a true heart because I could see it in his eyes. Love you, brother. Oop, you're muted.
Yeah, here I am late at night. Anyway, I think it's you understand this, but anyone that's been to hell and's kind of got out of hell and has kind of got to a good place, you got to have a good smile, right? Doesn't
Absolutely.
matter. Doesn't matter how you look or whatever. I love the smile. It's because I don't always smile, right? So it's
Yep,
fucking.
well, it's a very warm one, I got to tell you.
Yeah. Well, you're kind. Thank you, Wiz.
You bet. Thanks. The next thing, let me see here. I go back up in the comments. We've got what is your take on the border invasion? Well, what we've got is a system that needs new workers. We've got the New Deal was in 1933, and that's where they implemented all these programs to indoctrinate people into the paperwork system so that you would do the paperwork, and that makes you, by like action, subject to performing the functions of a public office. And if you remember the etymology of office, it means to make, of making. And so you're the one that is making these instruments viable by putting your signature on there. If you do not do that, they can't get anything out of that document. You have to give them data elements or agree to the terms and conditions on the document and then sign it on that line, sign and date it. There are other ways you can agree to certain paperworks, but you do not sign them in the same fashion. You do not give addresses the same way. You learn how to use a different language data set instead of like using the national addressing. And that's what they're doing, is they're getting people to immigrate into this country and use that address with a name. They don't need a number. They just need the name and address showing a statistical data element that they can regulate. That's all it is. Everything else is a presumption. So when they bring all these people across the border, it's just a distraction about the wall that still allows them to perpetrate the commercial system on people that are unknowing. These people are coming from countries that they say are bad economically, And so they're coming to a nation that they think is economically good. But the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to take advantage of all of their sweat equity labor. Any chance they need a little bit more money in this community, that community, whatever, they're going to go after the people. And it doesn't matter if you're a national, a sojourner, a sovereign citizen, an immigrant. It doesn't even matter if you're another federal official. That's how lunacy, I'm going to say demanding this system is, because it goes to the system of banking and you have to be a teller. And that's literally what they're doing, is they're telling on everybody. And it's literally the only way they can subsist is by having other people tell them things. Quit telling on yourself. Know thyself. So yeah, the border thing, it's not an invasion, it's an offer. And they're trying to keep the offer open. So the next one we're going to look at, another one I haven't watched, so it's spur of the moment, but it says it's a good one, supposedly by the title. And this guy usually puts out some decent ones.
Are illegal immigrants more important than Americans? I'd like to hear an answer.
Coincidentally, on the topic we just discussed, are immigrants more important than Americans? How quaint.
Why are illegal immigrants more?
That, Jack, is synchronicity, not being of like kind. That is synchronicity.
More important than homeless people sleeping on the streets? Why do we in one of the biggest economies here in California take care of illegal immigrants, but our people are sleeping on the streets? Nobody can ever answer that question. Yep. Why don't people put American citizens first? But
because it's not coefficient to the public system anymore. The American people are waking up. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. Supposed to be one of the most intelligent nations in the world too. Guess what? It's been one of the lowest ranked nations as far as education for a number of years. Pathetic.
But illegal immigrants get everything. And I hope you post this. I want this to go viral because I give a damn and I care about my community and I'm going to fight for it. And I am 100% voting for Donald Trump. The Democrat Party does not put our people first.
Nope.
They put sanctuary cities first. They put illegal aliens first. They tax us. They tax our water. You can't even do.
And at the same time, I got to tell you, this guy's a bitch-ass slave, of course, too, because even though he's making some good points here, the mask and taxes, that tells you he's still a slave, too. And again, when it comes to demanding, that's the only reason there's a chain of supply is because you are demanding it. I'm telling you, I'm asking you, stop. Just stop. Learn how to be your own coefficient.
Do laundry and shower on the same day. Wow. Meanwhile, President Trump is signing United States Mexico-Canada agreement, and he's signing trade deals, and he's cutting our taxes, and he's securing the border, and he's putting our veterans first. I am proud of President Trump, and I am voting for him because he's putting the American people first.
And again, so when it comes to that New Deal, we just got a new deal coming up, I assure you. When it comes to infrastructure and reorganizing the monetary system according to the digital currency, which they say that it's going to be totally digital, it's an impossibility. They have to have the paperwork to support everything, period. They cannot do away with the monetary system where legal tenders is defined as negotiable instruments. It is an impossibility. They fail to use reason and logic by living in fear that the digital system will be the replacement of paper currency. You do not have to allow that to happen. How do you stop it? You don't play to it. You know the difference between the credit system, which is electronic, the monetary system, which is paper, and how it connects to the real system of material assets. That's where the value comes from. It doesn't come from the money and it doesn't come from the credit. It comes from the material assets. And those were material, terrestrial terrain of Mother Earth, and it was set as he said it. This was put in place by him. Quit placating to all the damn fiction that you have to survive in that societal system by paying taxes and using a monetary fiat currency. You don't. You are the creditor if you allow it to pass through you. That's where all value comes from.
Period. Are illegal immigrants more important than Americans?
So the distinction here is Leviticus 25, verse 25. Excuse me, 23. The land shall not be sold forever, for it is mine. So what is the immigrant bullshit? And ye are strangers and sojourners with me. So again, what is the difference between immigrant and American versus stranger and sojourner? Is it the American that's the stranger, or is he the sojourner? Is it the immigrant that's the stranger or the sojourner? Or are they synonymously quite similar? See, this is a strange world to me, for I'm not of this world, but I'm in this world, and I will pass through with him. He is all credit to my energy. There's no way you can take that. None. See, God was standing there with Satan looking at him, talking about he's going to build his own army of demons. And he reached down and picked up a handful of dust of the ground and said, I'm going to make my army right in front of you. And God said, that's mine.
I'd like to hear an answer. Why are illegal immigrants more important than homeless people sleeping on the streets? Why?
Homeless people, they can't be homeless. The concept there is wrong. So again, we have a monetary system of monetary definitions that vacate, I'll say vacate, the very steward we are supposed to be, house ward. How can you be homeless if you are a steward, a ward of his house? How can you placate that a creature that naturally belongs here doesn't have a home? Listen to the insane use of the language.
Why do we in one of the biggest economies here in California take care of illegal immigrants, but our people are sleeping on the streets? Nobody can ever answer that question.
Yep.
Why don't people put American citizens first, but illegal immigrants get everything?
Why don't people put God first?
There you go.
How's it going, Ross?
Good. I had to mute up. We had a jet flying over.
So what's going on, brother?
I was sitting around. Been kind of taking it easy on here. It gets a little depressing from time to time, you know. But not depressing, just disheartening.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I don't get depressed. I see things that I have moments of disheartening, like you said, but you know, they're soon over. I understand the concept that fools will be fools. I can't be anybody's savior, let alone try to save them all. So all I can do is be that pastor that I talk about.
Yep.
So.
And right now, that's the only thing I try to do is, you know, a little bit about the situation. I got two little ones, and well, they're not so little anymore, but they've been indoctrinated big time in all this.
Well, yeah, I know.
And I'm not there now, so I'm 700 miles away. And, you know, it was a reality call when you realize you've been away for 2 years now. Boy, does time fly.
Yeah. And I'd like to, if you don't mind, let the folks know about a little background here. Russ and I have known each other for probably 6-7 years now.
Every bit of it. Every bit of it.
And when I first met him, you know, there were some hush-hush moments. And it came natural to him that he didn't like those. So he became very forward. and he started telling me about his wife and how his wife always argued with him about things, and consequently, you know, he
Hey,
was
Wiz.
able. Yeah.
Sorry, Wiz. What do you mean hush hush moments? Sorry.
Private moments that, you know, are interpersonal relationships. And oftentimes in this truther community, like myself and my companion,
You know, that
was
trust.
a special education teacher that was obviously a government employee all of her life. And those are the people I see as being the most indoctrinated. But yet here I am. I love her and she loves me. You know, two polar opposites that attract each other, and we're learning from each other. And that's the sequential relationship, as far as I know. You know, being able to deal with that thing that you despise and not just push it away, but actually welcome it into your life. It creates a very unique outlook and a very unique relationship.
That's what I was kind of looking forward to, the people opening up out here on these panels to maybe get to some of these people that's still deeply indoctrinated, for them to see what's going on with a lot of these good people. You know?
Yeah, you have to. It's like Jack not wanting to admit his own faults. You have to be able to see your own faults to actually truly be able to see others' faults. And so when I see Jack telling everybody that they offer him nothing, that's what he's gotten all of his life. I don't know how his mom and dad were, but I imagine that's what he got from them. You know, maybe his dad was a real successful man. Maybe his mom was a really well-to-do house mom, or maybe even she worked in a profession and she was a very well-to-do woman. And they both looked over him as if though he wasn't really worth a lot. And that's where narcissistic people get that kind of stuff. I grew up with not a lot of people putting value into me, but I didn't placate to that. I was telling everybody, you're not my daddy. That was my main concern. I had that self-confidence as a very young boy.
Yeah. And I mean, that just goes to show that it is in us. It's just been, you know, corrupted, obviously. But, you know, it's a struggle, man, because my big struggle was when, you know, the whole big thing hit back in the day, and they deemed it's not necessary anymore, or non-essentials, you know, for flooring guys and contractors of that nature, which I was. And then after all of that, then, you know, the more I woke up, the more I didn't want to placate to that system anymore. So, you know, now the money dries up and you ain't making that big money no more, you know. And then all of a sudden, that trust in the family and between those two units there, one working in the big banking industry and one out there, you know, bearing the fruits of his own labor, you know, providing a service to other people as the same as he. But, you know, those people are deemed unnecessary.
Yep.
So they took our ability. They tried to castrate us, certain men, and some of us didn't allow it.
Yeah. And this is another one of those comments. If you look on the board, this is from Jack Talcott earlier. And he says, cancer is the cure, brothers and sisters. And I'm going to sit here and tell you firsthand the fuck it is.
Love and food.
Cancer is a wake-up call. Cancer is a wake-up call that you haven't been listening to the instruction of your father and following the law of your mother. The law of your mother is your dietary existence, your alchemical existence, your electrolysis in your body, and how you manage your energy. And that comes from your diet, your exercise, your exposure to sun, water, oils, all kinds of things. And that's the cure.
See,
get back to your mother nature, your natural instincts as you're instructed spiritually. You don't need anybody else to tell you what's good and bad in life. You can see it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take the time to observe how it works first.
Right. We forgot where we came from, for sure. Now it's just resident slaves worshiping a president instead of ordinary people praising God. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy when you see it that backwards like that. You know, resident and president, and you know what I mean? It's just drop the P and you got the resident. So
Yep. And a quick mention on try put down there, Jack Manifest, the hallmark of Satan, the inversion of truth. Now take a look at that word Satan and you invert it. Natus. It means nativity. So it's literally the same thing as a breach birth. Sounds like a breach contract. See how literally insane this stuff points themselves out?
Yeah.
Jack is a narcissist, and it comes most likely from how he was treated as a child, being rejected all the time. So he's had to learn most everything he thinks he knows on his own, and that proves his own importance despite what anybody else says. That's that value, that self-value of the narcissistic trait, that he went around life, everybody putting him down, so he must have learned everything on his own. And now he's smarter than everybody else. No, that's not the way it works.
No.
So the next one. As we move on, we got a few more here. They're saying Bud Light made another bad mistake in commercializing. So we're going to take a look at this first time and see what this is.
Bud Light, which just no matter how much it tries, can't seem to get its act together. It has a new commercial. There we go, a brand new commercial. And this is after that song Good Times, but this is actually, I think, Bud Times that they're saying. And you see, oh, everybody's having a good time. They're picnicking. They're at the beach. They're having just a blast. I think at some point you see them at a hammock party. Somebody falls over in the hammock. Oh, look at that. He's going to fall over. Maybe, maybe not on his, on his paddle board. So it's all about how fun life is.
It looks like they're making fun of people that are literally fucking stupid. In other words, the inversion of the truth and saying you're stupid and that's fun. Here, watch our commercial so we can sell beer to you, you fucking idiots. That's what I see. It's called advertisement. They're enticing you in a different version, an added version.
Summer's great. We do fun things and we have a Bud Light. The only problem is, guys, it's a little bit too late, just a little bit too late, because on April 1st, and I'm not going to play it for you again, but it's like you can't get the image out of your head, right? The Dylan Mulvaney clip. And so consequently, they have seen their sales plummet. Latest numbers showing us sales are down 27%, again, for Bud Light in the latest week. Bud Light, which...
Wow. Wow. That was good for marketing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Say bye-bye, probably.
Some people, I tell you what, it's amazing. Like I said, they think they can get away with these kind of commercials, and they do, because generally the population is kind of stupid. I mean, it's a shame to say that, but like I said earlier, the American education system was one of the lowest ranking education systems in a number of years now. And it's rather sad. So let's take a look at this one. We got one of my favorite guys, Ted Cruz. He's going to accuse this Jean-Pierre Gal or whatever of peddling bullshit. We're going to see how well he destroys her. Because this gal does. She peddles nothing but bullshit. And I think Ted Cruz is one of the premier guys on calling bullshit. See how he destroys her.
We're facing an unmitigated disaster at our southern border. Illegal immigration is the worst in our nation's history.
Immigration again.
All of us.
Again, that's synchronicity. Like I said, I haven't listened to any of these ones yet. We've got a few more to go that I've watched, and they're great. But these first few, I haven't watched any of these. So it's just synchronicity that we're talking immigration again.
Have been down to the southern border. I spend a lot of time on our southern border. John Cornyn and I together brought 19 senators down to the border to see firsthand. You cannot see what is happening there and defend it. One of my recent trips to the border, a reporter asked me, said, aren't the policies of Democrats more compassionate, more humane than you mean Republicans?
See, they don't care about the total effect. Again, this is a plastic straw paper wrap thing. Both parties are working towards the same goal, and that is a distraction as to who is more humane. So it's about me, 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 me. Okay? You get it? These people aren't going to speak about the spirit. They're going to speak about themselves and what they're doing. These are the people Jack wants to go to solve the wars and end all secrets. It's pathetic.
I just started laughing.
If he really thought himself that smart, he'd know how fucking stupid that is.
You know who doesn't believe that anymore? Democrats. Where's Joe Biden? Where's Kamala Harris? Where's even a single Democrat senator? Where's AOC? I assume she still has her white pantsuit. She just can't be bothered to cry in front of the Biden cages. Because with Trump no longer in the White House, suddenly the suffering of those kids doesn't matter. You cannot see what is happening and defend it. And by the way, the reason Biden doesn't go to the border, the reason Kamala Harris and other Democrats don't go to the border, because if they did, y'all would follow. The press would follow.
Oops. You see the bias? Pay attention. See, this is what they're doing, and these are the dirty tricks they play. And it's not a trick on each other. It's a trick on you, the ones that are watching all this stuff. It's an advertisement. The news media is a very large part of it. It is the person in media. It is the political theological position that proves that the separation of church and state isn't there. You're the one that believes this stuff.
And their only defense, they cannot defend.
And I'm not saying you specifically, but those that do know who you are that believe this stuff. Learn to use your own discernment to see what's going on. This dual party system playing for the same ends, to have you follow them, the patriotic earthly father, but there is one Father which art in heaven. You're following their instructions rather than the heavenly instructions. I hope it does well for you.
They're doing. Their only defense is to cover it up. Karine Jean-Pierre stands at the White House podium and says, people are not just walking across the border. It's not happening.
People are not just walking across the border. It's not happening. They already admit 160,000 of them did.
Technical legal term for what that is. That's called bullshit. It is an utter and complete lie. It is a deliberate lie. It is a known lie. And she is lying on behalf of the President of the United States in the White House. Now, why does she lie? She lies because she counts on the press not to call her out. Was there a PolitiFact, a pants on fire done on that? No. I've invited the White House press secretary, come with me to the southern border any day and pick any hour of the day. We'll go out in 1 hour, and I guarantee you we will encounter group after group after group.
And again, when you call them out to do action, they aren't ready to do it. See? But again, it's a counterplay system. So the Democrats do the same thing. They will perform actions that point out a certain thing. Again, another type of distraction. Whether it be LGBTQ or this or that, freedom of speech, doesn't matter. They're going to bring something else up and do the exact same tactic. They're going to do something about it openly with the media and show that the Republicans don't. It's a manipulation game, and you keep believing it. All you people that vote. It's amazing.
You want to know how bad it is? We're now seeing Democrat mayors, Democrat governors, mayors like Eric Adams, the Democrat in New York, who says illegal immigration is destroying New York City. That's with 110,000 illegal immigrants in New York City. If 110,000 is destroying New York City, what in the hell do you think 7.6 million is doing to the state of Texas and the other states along our southern border? Now, these Democrats who are saying this, they can't quite muster up the strength to put the blame where it lies. which is at the feet of Democrats who are doing this deliberately. Instead, Mayor Adams blames, quote, that madman down in Texas, by which he means Greg Abbott. I have to admit, I was kind of offended he wasn't referring to me. But he blames Greg Abbott for putting a few thousand illegal immigrants on buses and sending them to New York City. The person who caused this crisis, his name is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. His home address is 16 blocks away. And by the way, if Eric
Damn, I thought he was going to dox him.
Adams wants some help fixing this problem, he can pick up the phone and call someone else named Charles Schumer. He's a New York resident. I believe he lives in Manhattan. The mayor doesn't have his number. We can give him Chuck Schumer's cell phone because Chuck Schumer is responsible, in the words of the New York mayor, for destroying New York City. Look, some of y'all may have seen when Alejandro Mayorkas testified in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. I asked him, I said, Mr. Secretary, how many migrants died last year crossing illegally? He said, I don't know. I have no idea. I said, of course you don't. The official numbers are 853, but you don't care about those dead bodies that appear in Texas every single day. I asked him how many children were brutalized by human traffickers. He said, I don't know. How many women were sexually assaulted? I don't know. How many people died of drug overdoses? As John Cornyn told you, it's more than 100,000.
See, and these are statistics, again, that they use to manipulate folks. But don't let that distract you from the idea that these things are happening. Just not by those numbers. It's very unlikely that they can pin down accurate numbers. But the atrocities themselves do happen. Those are known.
You want to talk about something stunning? I put up a photograph with pictures of colored wristbands. I said, Mr. Secretary, what are these wristbands? And he said, I have no idea what they are. Now, look, any good lawyer will tell you, you don't ask a question you don't know the answer to. That was one answer that left me flabbergasted. Because just about every single illegal immigrant who crosses the border wears one of those wristbands. They're color-coded for how many thousands of dollars they owe the cartels. And if you stand on the banks of the Rio Grande River, you see hundreds or thousands of these wristbands. They're just like this. These are the wristbands picked up from the banks of the Rio Grande River. And the little boys, the teenagers who come in who owe thousands of dollars to the cartels, they're sent to every city in America, and they're working for the cartels.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yes.
Looks like we lost Hard Hat. Yep.
We seem tired.
God bless. Thank you for coming up. You're always welcome back, of course. That was Hard Hat. Much love. Everybody shout out to Hard Hat. So what do you got on that immigration shit there? Remember, we're talking about child trafficking. And he straight out pretty much said it. That's international, folks. There was no qualms about it. He explained the process. These people are coming across with those bans. They're being shipped out throughout the United States and working off the labor. And the United States is the one that's doing it.
Exactly.
Working with the cartel. Quite the drug war, huh? That's a pretty bold accusation. But again, folks, this is just commentary. We're only looking at limitations on exclusive right for fair use of commentary of my opinions. But it's my opinion, and I think many out there hearing this are putting together the exact same picture. That's a large shout out for material evidence by one of the top officials of the United States. Very much in the public light. That's pretty wild, huh? So let's get back to it, because that was very interesting.
To pay off those thousands of dollars, they're committing crimes in Washington, D.C., and New York, in every city in America. And if they don't pay off the cartels, their families...
It's not on the screen.
And as
Oops. My apologies, folks.
from the banks of the Rio Grande River. And the little boys, the teenagers who come in who owe thousands of dollars to the cartels, they're sent to every city in America, and they're working for the cartels to pay off those thousands of dollars. They're committing crimes in Washington, D.C., and New York, in every city in America. And if they don't pay off the cartels, their families will be murdered. And as bad as the boys have it, the girls have it even worse. There are literally thousands upon thousands of girls trapped in sex slavery to pay off their debts to the cartels. When I look at these are modern day leg irons. This is human slavery.
Yeah, it's what I got out of it. He just restated it again.
And it is caused by the Democrats not giving a damn about the people being abused. And so I want to make a plea to the press. The reason the Democrats can do this, can look the other way, is because they're confident that the corporate media will not report on it, that they'll never have to answer questions about it. They'll never be confronted with the dead bodies, with the people being brutalized by these policies. So I want to make a plea to you. If you're not writing on it, if you're not running stories on it, if you're not telling what's happening, you are complicit in modern day slavery. This is indefensible. It's evil.
And so, yeah, he may be lying, but again, I'm trying to point out the fact that the system is only doing this stuff because of the people that are making the demand upon it. If you quit making the demand upon it, then you're actually closer to being part of the solution. But as long as you're going to be a resident of the state, United States citizen, voter, employee, all this stuff, and not do anything about that first, you're not going to be able to help these other people. So it doesn't matter what they're doing, who's doing it. What matters is what you're going to do. What are you going to do to change? That's my perspective here. What do you think, Russ?
I couldn't agree more, because I think it's up to us to lay it back to the future generations.
Yep. Yeah, that goes to the principle.
we have to
teach
protect
this
that
to our next generations. Yeah, we've got to take care of that.
And that's how they got by with a lot of this. The women got to they got to the women, and the women got to the men, and we woke up 45, 50 years later.
Yeah.
They realized, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Where the fuck?
All right. Well, our next one coming up here. This is one of the meanest slams I've ever seen. Oops. Wrong switch there.
Throw it up on the screen.
We got it. Okay. Watch this. And this is Junior Mac. Boom. This first one, he took him clear off the mat, I think. He slammed him on the cement, made it the second time easier. Bam! He had him cradled out and stretched. Flat on his back. That had to have hurt.
I think myself personally, I think wrestling's probably, if any of them's worth a shit, that'd probably be about the best one for anybody, really. It's just you and them in that circle right there, and you got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
My little guy wrestled since he was 4 until 13, something like that.
Okay, the next one. Oh, this is insanity.
I want to come.
best friend makes me come. I'm like, yeah, like it's a good friend thing to do to make each other
Give
come.
head.
Yeah, to give head. You can,
No,
like,
no,
yeah,
that
she's
is
talking-
This is what we were talking on Paul's one day, where you got like 15% of the men that are bad, and it's a majority of the women in the population that go to that minority of men because of those kind of relationships. That is not the natural course of bringing in children in the world, and that's what often happens. And we've got to be aware that this kind of beginning to a family structure is pretty much impossible unless you've got some kind of spiritual connection first. So that large portion of the women go into the small portion of the men that are dishonorable and stuff and out there hoeing around themselves. It's the one bad apple concept. Even though the other, the large portion of the men are honorable men and stuff, but women don't seek after them because they don't have the same kind of high standards that women are looking for. Some might be considered a geek or this or that, and they just don't go after those kind of men. Yet they're honorable men.
Also, those children aren't created on the foundation of love either.
No, that's why I say it's almost impossible for this kind of a relationship to end up with a family.
And
so
that
anybody,
would be
most any of them that are born in this kind of situation, it's a destroyed family before it even gets a chance to develop, and that's them barren mothers and the desolate children. The desolate children are growing, and then they're disappearing. 85,000 children came across that, or 160,000 children came across the border. 85,000 of them missing. Think about that. That's disturbing statistics, but this is a large portion of that cause.
You seen that Richie the Clown or Richie the Barber or whatever the hell his name is? He's one of them guys up there, and used to be them Hollywood elites, and he just turned to Jesus about 9 months ago. He was still into the Satan shit. His face is all tattooed up like a clown. But he's been calling all of them guys out. Dwayne Johnson, all of them, dude, to talk about parties. He was up there with all them cats. He cuts all their hair. He's a barber. And YouTube's not taking him down. He was talking about how they Dwayne Johnson walked in there with a big old duffel bag and said, he was curious of what was in the bag. So he went over to open the bag up, and it was a little person. And talking about how they were in this big place and all these separate tables with about 5 elites at each one of them tables. And they basically played spin the bottle with that little person. And
wow,
I mean, I'm shocked at the amount of information that's coming out now on the metaverse without being
sickness, deep sickness.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say right now, I respect you. I do. I don't respect what you do or how you do it, but I respect you as a human. But that's bullshit. And to your friends is normal.
We're never.
Oh, that's fine.
I don't care how bone your pussy is. I don't care how good. We will never.
Make this.
You would have to pay
Is this a
me
mission? Is this a mission?
You would have to pay me.
Yeah, I don't think they could pay me.
Right. Well, basically telling her straight to her face that she's a whore.
Yes.
Huh? What?
There was as many sticking out as you was in you. You'd look like a porcupine.
You want to bet that you will never?
I will never. You.
Are you sure?
Not.
All right.
I don't want to.
I believe it. I believe it.
Wait, I want to come. My best friend makes me come.
Surprising.
I mean, how? Just your opinion. How old do you think that girl is?
I have no idea, and I'm not gonna. I don't.
Yeah, and to be talking even. It's just. I mean, I don't know. I'm just glad it's all getting turned around. I believe.
Getting turned around. It's been getting turned around.
Yeah.
New Deal, World War II. Yeah, a lot of it's just everything's repeating, and we really got to learn how to start observing what's going on around us and be able to correlate to that repetition. The next one is amazing. This is that nature thing. I like these kind of videos. Guys out here surfing this huge fucking wave. Man. All right, I want to take a quick break and remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button for me. There's PayPal links down below if anybody wants to share some love. And welcome, Texas. How you doing tonight? Hello.
Hi.
Greetings. How are you?
Greetings, Brother Keith.
Hey, I recognize that voice. How you doing, sister?
I'm good, Brother Keith. How are you?
I am great. I am great. We're coming up on the last few here tonight, and having a good day. I started out, went to court this morning to take care of that bench warrant. We had some success, so we've been able to enjoy the day, and I'm gonna get some rest after we get done here and start back at the rest of it tomorrow. So
it's awesome. I was about to ask,
it did today.
awesome.
Yes.
I was about to ask you about that.
Yes. It went real smooth, actually. It was amazing. 7 years since I've been in that courthouse, but once I walked in, it was like I almost missed the place.
Oh, glory.
All right. The next one we got here. Russell J. Brand is one of my favorite guys to listen to. I remember as I was growing up watching him and things in his life as a very outspoken person back then in his career, and now that he's changed his ways and stuff and he's speaking out in things, it's amazing to watch how people react to him as he's grown. I mean, I remember watching when he had just a few thousand followers, and now he's got millions, and it's amazing how these people go after you when you start getting those kinds of numbers, no matter what kind of truth you're speaking or anything.
Energy companies that profit when there's an energy crisis, military industrial complex that profits when it's a war, pharmaceutical companies that pandemic. You're creating the necessity for ongoing crisis.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, kind of synchronicity. Again, this stuff only operates because there's a demand, and if that demand is cut off, then they can't supply it, and the ones that are demanding it are the only ones that can stop it. So I ask you, stop it.
If the elites in the society benefit from
You don't have it up on the screen.
mental to everybody else, that's
Well, we'll just start over.
How can you have energy companies that profit when there's an energy crisis, military industrial complex that profits when it's a war, pharmaceutical companies that profit when there's a pandemic? You're creating the necessity for ongoing crisis.
Yeah.
If the elites in a society benefit from situations that are detrimental to everybody else, that's what reality is going to become. That's what reality has become.
To say that they wouldn't do that because they value human life and morals and ethics over profit, that's never been exhibited. That's not.
And that's the same with the Ted Cruz video just a little bit ago. Again, they're just placating that one is more moral than the other, but the eventual effect has never been exhibited. It's always been about them and what their policies are and how they can placate one policy is better than the other. It's never about the true actual effect of fixing anything. It's the plastic straw and the paper wrap exchanged for a paper straw and a plastic wrap. That is not a solution. That's a conversion.
Not true.
How can you have energy companies that profit when there's an energy crisis, military industrial complex that profits when it's a war, pharmaceutical companies that profit when there's a pandemic? You're creating the necessity for ongoing crisis.
Yeah.
If the elites in a society benefit from situations that are detrimental to everybody else, that's what reality is going to become. That's what reality has become.
To say that they wouldn't do that because they value human life and morals and ethics over profit, that's never been exhibited. That's not true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, when somebody speaks on the truth and it starts getting out there, then they start bringing out those skeletons in the closet and making things up. So we really got to start thinking about this stuff. The next one. I wish this thing wasn't so slow.
What happens when you disrespect a referee in MMA? In 2020, a fighter named Ahmed choked his opponent and wouldn't let go of the hold, even after the referee tried to pull the man's hand away. The referee repeatedly tried to forcefully release the choke, which enraged Ahmed, who then pushed the referee twice and threatened him by grabbing his collar. Although Ahmed had legally won the contest, the referee disqualified him from the fight for the misbehavior, and his opponent was announced the winner. Well, a prime example of what happens when you mess with the referee. And
this is what Jack wants to do. He wants to fuck with the referee because people won't do what he says. This is insane, people. You want to get up in the fight or get up in the ring and fight, then fight and do it fairly. That means you have to take your shit. Somebody says you did something wrong, you have to accept that you did something wrong. Period. I don't see how people don't see this. I don't see how he's got the numbers he's gotten, and they climb. You know, he played this stunt about subscriber only mode in his chat, and his numbers went up. That's a type of censorship requiring people, and granted, it's only a time slot thing, so it's not really charging you anything. But it's certainly dismissing what you have to say on topic. It's disgusting. The next one is along the lines of who's on first and this and that. And I just thought it was funny. So we're going to take a look at it here real quick. Oops. As our last one, and then we're going to have our outs. This is from Rush Hour, one of the movies I did happen to watch. It's funny as shit.
Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you. Just answer the damn questions. Who are you? I have told you. Are you deaf? No, you is blind. I'm not blind, you blind. That is what I just said. You just said what? I did not say what. I said you. That's what I'm asking you. And you is answering. Shut up. You. Yes? Not you, him. What's your name? Me. Yes, you. I am me. It's me. And I'm you. Who are you? You. No, not me, you. Yes, I am you. Just answer the damn questions. Who?
Just a little reminder, you really got to remember the thing about the name. And that's what they're using to disposition you people. You have to know thyself. It doesn't matter what everybody else is. It doesn't matter whether they ask you who you are. Because even if you tell them, they might still be confused. See, just answering questions for them isn't going to bring them out of their confusion. They have to be willing to accept the answer. What do you got, guys?
I ain't got much today, buddy. I just, I've been in my own head for a couple of days, and, you know, I just, I kind of went over Jack and them a little bit. They were talking some good stuff over there for a couple of minutes, but, I think they're all just still in their egos as their biggest downfall.
Well, yeah, they don't see the things that they're doing as far as ending all wars and secrets goes. And yet he hands out all these wrenches to people that are stopping people from telling the truth and causing those issues. It's just dumbfounding.
And has no idea that he's part of the problem. And anyone like him.
Well, yeah, and that's that narcissism I was telling you about at the beginning of the video. It's all about me, and he cares not about anybody else.
Right. I was questioning that too. I saw his number was up to about 15 now, and is all these narcissistics flocking to him?
Well, yeah, and anybody that feels they need a savior. I mean, Jack has literally been on panel and said that he felt he was Jesus.
Oh my God, he said that?
Many months back on Paul's, I believe it was. Maybe it was on Jesse. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it. So take it for what it is, doesn't matter whether he said it or not. The plain position here is that people go to him and somehow there are several that claim that Jack saved them when that's an impossibility. They aren't saved yet if they're still caught in the confusion and the babble and willing to accept the lies, particularly the lies that Jack is putting forth, and they don't even see them.
Yeah. I looked at that too. I kind of looked at his troubles and whatnot, and that behavior definitely stems from that. Yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, how could someone claim, or even like you said, it doesn't even matter if he did, but I mean, let's just say he's supposed to be acting in that image, right? Of that image. And how do they not know that their behaviors by beating people down and all of that stuff is so far, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Supposed to be embracing peace, not hate and divide. And they keep doing it.
See, Jack professes to be this open guy, right? He's open, right? Open panel. Yet he holds things against me. I don't hold anything against him. I've even given him kudos for being Jack because he's one of the ones that kept pushing the thing about the angry old man. So that causes me to change myself so that when I'm in front of Jack, I'm not angry and I just point things out succinctly. And he still can't deal with it. He can't deal with it so much that the last 3 times I was on panel, you can watch, I was succinct, I was quiet, I was peaceful, I was respectful. I didn't accuse him of anything. And here I am. He won't let me on his panel because he knows that's all I'm going to do from now on is speak the truth. So yeah, Jack, your assessment of my motives and goals are inaccurate as usual. I never said that, nor have I claimed such a thing. more lies to discredit my freely offered wisdom. And like I said, people, many times you look up the etymology of comments, whether written or spoken, they're known to be inventions, fabrications, or fictions. So, Jack, if that hurts your little butt, take it deep and make it hurt really good. Fucking bitch ass slave. Go suck somebody else's cock. You're not welcome here. You can make all the comments you want. It's going to do nothing but provide more rope to hang your silly fucking insane ass. You get it? Because I've already expressed, and I'm sure everybody else knows, you ain't dangerous. You're a fucking punk bitch ass slave. So go back to your little life, and when you end up out in the nature and you can't do for yourself, go suck some more dick.
There's one thing in this world that's dangerous, and that's truth to you motherfuckers. I would think they may want to go back to that altar and correct that alter ego they have, because it sucks.
I wouldn't welcome myself on the Satan's doorstep. I'm not going to welcome myself onto the doorstep of somebody that won't do anything for themselves. I'm not going to put myself on the doorstep to offer my help to a man to have him turn me away.
Yep. You know, there's some truth into all these old sayings. And, you know, I was having some discussion with my mother today about all of it, you know. And, I mean, these are basic concepts of what you were taught when you were a fucking child, dude.
Well, that's just the thing.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't take anything that don't belong to you.
I don't
tell me
know
who
that
your
Jack-
friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. Right? All of these things.
I don't know that Jack was taught that. Again, narcissism in this perspective comes from people that grew up being rejected.
Mm-hmm.
And that's generally people that just didn't pay attention to them, so they had to learn a lot of things on their own.
You know, they say a narcissist will burn down their own house just to win.
Yeah, see, Jack has no interest in me on his panel, but yet Ona Faye makes a good point. So, Jack, again, I hope you enjoy sucking my dick.
Oh,
you're over here watching me. Because if you really didn't care what I had to say, you would say, go fuck yourself, Keith, and not give me a number, you know, of you as you still sit down there watching. You little bitch ass slave, you punk ass motherfucker. Get the fuck on out. I don't want your fucking numbers. I don't want to be on your doorstep, and I don't want you on mine.
Brother Keith, I have a question.
Sure.
Would you agree, I read it somewhere in psychology, that we all possess at least one or two narcissistic traits?
What? When we talk about narcissism, we're talking about the sense of pride. And everybody, just like a sense of anger, sense of joy, a sense of embellishment. We have all of these character traits, and it comes to a matter of balancing them out. Jack doesn't want to balance out pride with truth. If narcissists could balance out pride with truth, they would realize that even in their greatest narcissistic moments, they must realize through reason and logic, there has to be somebody out there that's smarter than them.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oops.
Agree. I believe narcissist or narcissistic people lack empathy. What is
Very much. Very much. Because, and again, that's because they grow up in situations like I explained earlier. And again, I'm not saying that's the way Jack did grow up. I don't know. But that tends to be what it comes from, is rejection. And in that rejection, they get rejected so much that they have to learn things on their own in that they only learn the things that they have access to, and nobody guides them to enhance it with other things or teach them how to correlate it in other things, other venues. Jack can't correlate a stamp with authority, and he worked for the Postal Service because he doesn't know the difference between, like Flow State, a postage stamp and a prepaid postal impression. And again, this is the man that posed the president of the postal union, the labor union. He was the one that's supposed to know how to bring the finances to the union workers so they weren't getting ripped off. And he doesn't know the first thing about the prepaid postal impression and the difference between that and a stamp. Postage stamps are used for letters entered into the mail using postal products and services such as envelopes and processing. And the other prepaid postal impressions are for manifold dispatch articles by private foreigners coming from a point of origin to a final destination, and it passes through the mail. The language is specific as the law is specific. And if you're going to get trapped up on your own tongue and string that rope all around with all the words you say, Jack, with all the words you say, and you don't know the spirit of the word, you're doing nothing but babbling. Just like Flow State when he tries to say that I was forging and counterfeiting U.S. postage stamps. None of them look like U.S. postage stamps. None of them are U.S. postage stamps. They are homemade prepayment postal impressions, which you are allowed to do as creators of a foreign point of origin. You do not have to accept the creation of another. So whatever God you think you're paying your spiritual presence to, you and that God can go fucking suck dick. Do it some more, Jack, you blasphemous motherfucker.
That's he said I spend my time focused on spiritual balance within my truth. Shit.
Which one is more relative to peace? Well, when you think about postage stamps and you have to pay, saying that you owe a debt, you've already displaced yourself from owing no man anything but to love one another. For to love one another is to fulfill the law. So I don't know what kind of fucking insane laws you're following. But they are, in fact, every bit of piece of paper for fiat currency is known as a battle of the forms. So you're the one that entered into that documentation and continues to believe that those words have any fucking value at all. The peace is in yourself. And if you don't come to peace within yourself and realize you are at fault, you're nothing but a narcissistic fucking pig. You son of a bitch. Like I said, you're still down there hanging out. So if I really hurt you, you'd fucking leave with your hurt ass fucking butt. Like I said, go fucking suck some more cock somewhere else, you fucking bitch ass slave.
See, I've lost all respect for the guy. I mean, I've never done anything to the man, and he wants to sit here and act like he's on some spiritual journey within himself in his truth. But where's that do unto others as you want them to do unto you?
Well,
what have I ever done to you? I get up on your panel and I say one fucking thing on truth, and you get all, well, it don't benefit me, you're out of here. What the fuck? What's this God you're fucking worshiping?
Yeah, and as he sits here and says, nothing you teach is anything we learned at my post office. It's his post office. See, it's all about Jack.
Yes.
See? Your delusion eludes even you. Or are you just that convinced of your own false narratives? If they're false narratives, Jack, again, prove that they're false because the post office agreed that they're true. They passed them through their system. I'm not the only one that does it. And I'll be damned if it isn't in the protocols for the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union, and it's discussed 57 different times. You dumb son of a bitch. So just because they didn't teach you, again, showing your limited knowledge, you narcissistic fucking dumbass.
Well, again, he's saying nothing you teach. Are you sharing or are you teaching?
Well, those who are willing to learn would see me as
so you're
teaching
sharing
them
with them
because I'm bringing it to them. They're
Yeah.
not subsisting on their own and only learning from what they observe. I brought it to light for them. See, Jack is waiting for everybody else to bring things to light to him. If they don't, then it's not true and it's not his truth. It's all about Jack. If he doesn't observe it, it's not true. So even if you point it out to him, he ain't going to look.
Right.
Just like Flow State. Flow State looked, he searched franking privilege and it came up with a congressional document. And that's all he looked. The first Google spot that came up. And it mentioned it one time. Yet he refused to acknowledge the thing that I show on screen anytime I want. Universal Postal Union's Constitution and its protocols, where it mentions it 57 times. Now, how do you suppose I would know it mentions it 57 times? You suppose I've read it once or multiple times and counted? People are fucking ignorant. Jack especially. So keep watching, Jack.
Well, your word's also supposed to be your bond and shit.
Exactly.
Ain't no value behind his word for sure.
It shows that he's bonded to the falseness of accusing his brother of not caring for him because he doesn't placate that anybody cares for him no matter what they do. You ask him what you can do to help him. He says, what about my eviction? You offer up a simple solution that millions of people around this nation do, and it's not good enough. Therefore, you didn't offer him anything, and you are being false and deceitful. You narcissistic fucking punk ass bitch. Keep watching.
I think what it all boils down to is his inner demons don't even trust himself.
I wouldn't either. He's a lazy fucking punk.
I know. But Jack, honestly, brother, if you want to find out where all your problems are, look in the mirror, my friend. That's where you'll find them. And that's for each and every one of anybody out there in that situation. Look in the mirror. You'll find that problem.
Well, based on my experience with narcissists, that's the one thing they never see is their own reflection.
Well, you can never save them either. Yeah, you can never save them either.
They're too busy caring about themselves all the time to see their own mistakes or flaws. And it's, I don't know.
All right. Well, enough of the bitching at the end here.
Yeah.
Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There's PayPal links down there for anybody that wants to share some love. And remember, folks, and we certainly have to go through this process of learning how to know thyself. But when you learn to know thyself, like our sister said, it's a reflection. Once you learn to look in that mirror and see yourself, now you can use that mirror to show other people. This is your actions. You show other people how you can change and change for the better and gradually be more and more prosperous and charitable. That doesn't mean that you become some cupcake, though. So again, Jack, you're still down there, which I assume you are. Fucking leave. Don't come back. I don't need you. I don't want you. You're the problem. And until you learn how to admit your fault in it, you're just going to keep going around sucking everybody's dick that placates that they're going to be nicey cupcake to fill your panel and talk lovey-dovey. It's all about love, man. You don't even know the first thing about love. You don't know that it's a process, not a feeling. Fucking idiot.
And I mean, that's even proven by his own actions, right? You got all these people that are lending Jack all of this time because they care about Jack, and he don't give two fucks about either one of them.
And you know, the funny thing is, every last one's vying for a spot known as to save a hoe.
Yep.
Get credit for helping save someone. And they have people down in the chat section that are sitting there willingly, blatantly spelling it out. Yeah, Jack saved my life. Bitch, you drank 2 fucking shots, got drunk, and all of a sudden you decide not to do that anymore, and Jack saved your life, and here you are fucking drinking again. You fucking idiots.
No one can save you, folks. You're going to have to save yourself. I mean, that's another lie, you know, right out their mouth, and you know it as well as I do. The only one can save you is yourself.
Yep. Know thyself. And then once you do that, you can reflect yourself and show others, and that's it. M. Davis is on it. M. Davis is on it. He knew who I was talking about. So what do you got, sister? We're going to close it out here after you.
Moi?
Moi.
Can we go back really quick, because I was trying to get on the panel when you were talking about, I think you brought up a video about women these days. I'm not trying to defend them, because I myself as a woman feel very ashamed of everything that's going on with, you know, women not having self-respect and so much more. But can we compare that as well? I see a lot of older men now these days looking for younger women to bear their little ones, their offspring, and in reality, that's just something that never really works, because most of these men, you know, are just not energetic anymore. They can't really physically be there for the little ones that they bring into this world. And I'm not even sure if they can keep up. I mean, assuming it's a younger woman.
Well, let me express a familiar matter. Scripture talks about if a woman has a husband and they have children, and then somehow the husband passes away. Now, the husband's family is the one that would then step in and help take care of that woman and children. Now, if that husband that passed away had brothers, it would be upon the next oldest brother, the oldest brother, to help in a way as a father. Now, in the same situation, if you have a woman and a husband and they have no children, the same situation exists. That husband's family takes care of his wife since he's passed. But part of that caretaking is the legacy. This is the bearing of children. So it goes upon one of the brothers, again, the oldest, to take care of that wife and provide children, even if he's got his own wife. Even if he's got his own wife, it was taken upon to go ahead and inseminate And it was a community thing. It was a family thing. It wasn't just a husband and wife thing, which is one family unit, but a pack unit, which is a large family unit. It's the in-laws. That's why they talk about at-law and in-law. See, if you're at-law, you're all about the inheritance, the material existence. If you're in-law, then it's the legacy.
And that's why the
legacy is the story of the spiritual existence of the forefathers and those families. And it goes to the matriarchal roots. See, it's your mom is the next of kin. Yeah.
It just hit me that that's why the attorneys practice at law and not in law, right?
Correct.
Law is for land, air, and water.
That's that false marriage. It's called a license. See, true covenants operate under what's known as a wedlock. Now, wedlock is W-E-D, which is where we get wedding. And that's what we commonly call marriage. Now, people forget the wedding term. They don't take it as important. And that's the most important element because it goes to the root of wedding, which is wedlock. And it shows the bifurcation of wedlock and marriage. So the wedding is held as the wedlock, but the marriage is the commercial license. Whereas if you have a wedlock, you don't need the marriage license. The wedlock is wet, W-E-T, water, lock being bond. It's the water bond. You know, when old boy plants his seed, he puts to put his seed, he adds set his seed in the material womb, the furnace of the mother that then mixed with the water. See, it's a process. It's not a feeling. It's a process. It is not a noun. It's verbal. You are a verb, and every act you take or every breath you take is an act of God. Make it so. Aye, aye, Captain. Anyway, does that help?
Yes, thank you, Brother Keith.
All right. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for your support. NJG Girl Channel 3, Kelly. Who else we got here? Hard Hat, of course. Wobbly Boost. Thanks, guys. No Despair Bear up in here. We got, and of course, let's not forget Jack Talcott. And remember, Jack, it's not about you anymore. It's all about me, and me. Say the fuck off my doorstep. Anybody else here? We got Jen. Thanks for stopping in. Who else? Anybody I might have missed and that I don't see? Greetings and thanks for joining. God bless everybody. Have a great night. And remember, I love you, but I don't give a fuck whether you love me back. That's up to you. Learn how to love yourself so you then can reflect it through your actions. Have a good night. We'll see you again next time, guys.
Good night. God bless in Jesus' name.
Bye.
Much love.